Well, to be honest, I wasn't intimately involved in the design. This project's been going on for quite a number of years. So most of the serious design issues and questions have been answered, before my arrival. Once the team and myself started to, form and really look at some of the areas, there were some concerns or observations that we made as the operators that might have influenced, to the positive, some things that had been designed that without maybe having an operator's eye, that we needed to modify just to make the life for our guests and for ourselves a little bit easier. So actually, it's the most difficult piece of being in this business is everything is a detail, right? Something that's really very important to you as a guest, another person might find not important. So we don't know which that piece is for you. When we first meet you, you're a first-time guest. So the things that are important to you, they reveal themselves over time. And through feedback, we find out what is important to you as a person and you as a customer, the things that you value during a stay, the things, or during a meal, the things that you really don't care so much about. It's not rocket science, it's harder, actually, because everybody is different. For me, the selection of the executive committee, my direct reports, is probably the most important decision that I had to make when it comes into the opening, because they're the leaders for each individual area. They're the subject matter experts. My director of rooms is better at rooms than I ever was or ever will be, because that's his specialty. He does it every day. Director of beverage and food, my director of culinary, they are the subject matter experts. And I trust on them, and I lean on them heavily to do their job well. I have input. My job as general manager, I believe, is to remove barriers, to help them whenever a road may not be clear and they have to make decisions between options, to help them be a sounding board and lead to a good decision. But in terms of what is an acceptable piece of veg or fruit, my director of culinary is the expert. I'm not going to be the one to tell him that tomato is no good. You know that, and that's really the perspective that I brought in hiring all of my leaders. Is I find somebody that shares that kind of a management style, where as we go down the chain, the people closest to the customer really become the experts. They're the ones day to day that are going to be interacting. They're going to be serving hundreds of meals and checking in hundreds of people, hopefully. And each one of those people, when they do that every day, they get very good. They're experts at their job. As we go further up the chain, we're more removed. We know the generalities of how our systems work, but we're not standing there doing that operation every day. So we keep our ears open, but we expect the people closest to the job to be the experts at it. I think I'm responsible for setting the vision, for business direction, interactions with our above property leaders, with the owner, anybody that the owner feels is important for the overall direction and performance of the hotel, setting the tone of the leadership, making sure that we are clear on where we're trying to go, what our big picture is. Also, for me, I prefer an informal style of interaction with my staff. I use my first name. I expect them to use my first name. I'm very comfortable being addressed as Rick or Mr. Rick, and not sitting on formalities of Mr. Zeolla. And that perspective starts to break down if a supervisor insists on being addressed as sir or Mr. and the general manager is Rick, there's a breakdown. So we need to make sure that sense of approachability, informality really goes down from the top all the way to the bottom. Empowerment is actually one of the most important elements of my leadership style, and also with Marriott. We really strongly believe in that. If an associate encounters a guest and they ask to see the general manager, what we train them, or what I tell all of them during orientation, is when you hear that, what the guest is really saying is, I have a problem, right? They generally don't want to meet me just to say hi, right? That's a clue for them that something's wrong, and I encourage them to jump into that conversation and try to solve it, try to find out what's going on, help to keep a problem from getting away from them. We believe really strongly in empowerment, and also stress with the team that they won't get in trouble for making a decision. If they decide to overcompensate or really do kind of too much for what might be a small problem, they're not going to get in trouble. We'll do a kind of a debrief later and say, okay, this is what happened, this is what you did, and these are some other options that you might have had available to you before you jump to where you are, which is maybe a free stay or a free week. For a not properly done egg is not what we're looking for them to do, but we really want to give them options. We want to support them when they make decisions. If somebody has an issue, I don't want them scrambling and looking for a manager. I want them to make decisions. That's really really key to, I think, what our success will be. We're all open for 14 days at this point. At the very beginning, it's really just building awareness, and this is a heavily anticipated opening on a lot of different fronts. So people are looking for us, but it does take time to get the word out, make people aware that you have in fact opened. We have a big splash coming up on the 4th of December. We're doing a concert with an A-list celebrity, and that really is designed to really tell the world that the Renaissance Downtown Hotel Dubai is open and waiting for customers.